What?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were, because they were there. I seen them. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
All right, barbershop conversations, man. That was 9 Wives. If you love that, go to 9wives.movie, and we with none other than the Hall of Famer, man, Leon Muhammad, man. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. Now in the Hall of Fame, I was a captain in Philadelphia under Minister Jeremiah.
Yeah, but you still a boxing. Aren't you in the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame?
Jersey, South and North Carolina, and Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Going in California in February.
Oh, okay. You going to California in February?
In February.
Oh, congratulations, man.
God is good.
Yeah, man. How you doing? And
man, holding up. You know, just got to the hospital. You know, things is bad, but God is good.
And your book. Don't forget your book and your Cash App. What is it?
It's boxing. It's $ boxing 1949.
$ boxing 1949.
1949.
1949.
49.
Yeah.
1949.
Okay, boxing. So feel free to support Leon Muhammad. Order his book. $.
The Country Boy.
The Rise and Fall of the Country Boy. $ boxing 1949, man. And as you said, you were the captain under Jeremiah. But I spoke to you earlier, and you said you knew Adam Clayton Powell, right?
My man, the congressman.
How well did you know him?
I knew him quite well because at that time, he was close to a lot of politicians in Philadelphia, at the Bill Gray and Gray's father and Mayor Tate and all of them. That was at that time. Good guy. You know, he did him, and plus he was close to our friend Sylvester Lee at the Amsterdam News, who was very close to Don King and Minister Jeremiah.
Okay. Did you have any one-on-one time with Adam Clayton Powell down in Harlem and all that?
Well, a few times we talked on certain things concerning some things that was going on 112 in St. Nick. He wasn't pleased with Nicky and all of them. It is what it is.
And
that era.
And what was it? What was going on?
Well, we all saw American Gangster. Adam was a guy that loved his community, he fought for his community. But Adam Clayton Powell, you know, he had the Senior Baptist Church, who Calvin Buss took over. But he also, I believe, that he was only the one African American Congress at that time standing up. From what from my small reaction with him, Bob Fred, is that he loved his people.
He loved the streets.
He loved his people, and he loved Malcolm. He loved Malcolm.
How would you talk about their relationship? What do you know about their relationship? You said he loved Malcolm. What do you know?
I knew that, especially towards the end of Malcolm's life, I knew that he always supported Malcolm. But as the situation with Malcolm and chickens coming home to roost, he also, whatever, see, you gotta understand, this thing didn't have to go this far. But, and I pray to Allah that Atala, his oldest daughter, and Kabir and all them forgive me, but he didn't have to go this far. Bumpy Johnson wanted to stop it right then. But he told Bumpy, I don't want blacks killing each other. Malcolm had reformed, come out of the penitentiary, and Bumpy wanted to go to war with Captain Yusuf Shaw. And Bumpy was nothing to play with. But Malcolm didn't want it. Adam Clayton Powell told Malcolm, Bumpy went to Adam Clayton Powell and said, I'll take care of it. But and Alan, the congressman, went to Malcolm. Malcolm said, no. Let me talk to him. I don't want black folks killing each other. We're about down there. So, because that's why I said he was reformed. And this thing with Elijah, see, you understand, they put him in the trick bag. I said it before, they put him in the trick bag. Adam Clayton Powell understand, and Malcolm understand, but Bumpy want to hear that. Bumpy want to clean it up. But Malcolm, being the guy that he became, he didn't want that. So him and Alan was real close as him and Percy Sutton was, who owned Apollo.
Got that. And Bumpy Johnson was willing to take out everyone who was in a leadership position at Mosque number 7?
Everybody, especially that little fat pig that turned on Malcolm, Yusuf Shaw, known as Joseph 1X Gavin. Malcolm got him out the trash can on Russell and Clyde in Detroit. That's where he's from. Joseph Gavin was his name. They became Yusuf Shaw. He was a rat for Elijah Muhammad, told on everything that went on in Temple number 7. And he was Malcolm's captain.
Right. How much muscle did Bumpy Johnson have in Harlem? Like how can you give the viewers or the listeners an indication of how powerful he was in terms of the drug trade and controlling the streets?
That time, Bumpy went to war with the mob with Dutch Schultz. He went to war with them. Bumpy was a real shrewd guy, expected to come out of Charleston, South Carolina, born in 1908, 1910. Mm-hmm. Very smart guy. He's well loved. Well respected. Mob was scared of him. He got in the bed with Lucky Luciano. But Lucky feared him. Lucky knew that, because living them country boys. Because Bumpy said, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it right. So they all, even, see, I don't know if that rat bastard told you, but he was scared of Bumpy. John Ali, scared to death of Bumpy. So Bumpy signed for him, but Malcolm said no. Let it go.
Right.
Malcolm had been reformed. That's how it went down. I don't care what they say in Chicago, where it went down. But that's how it went down. Bumpy wanted to make it go right. But Malcolm said no. He didn't want the brothers and Bumpy's crew. Bumpy had a dangerous crew. Bub Strokes, all them guys, uptown the Mississippi gangsters, they were with Bumpy.
How impactful was that war between Dutch Schultz and Bumpy Johnson in Harlem? How can you take your time and elaborate on that?
To my knowledge, and to what I understand, and to what I've seen as a young man, see, that was a little before my time in the streets. Mm-hmm. But I knew about it, and my uncle and them told me the story because they were with Bumpy. And then Dutch Schultz came up town, Jewish gangster. He wanted to run the show, take all the numbers. Stephanie St. Clair, I love her. She didn't have the crew. When Bumpy came home from Sing Sing, Bumpy said, became her bodyguard. She had the Jamaican guy. He had the heart, but not the brains. They went to the table with the families, and Gus said, I ain't getting in the bed with no niggas. I'm taking Harlem. When he tried, Bumpy blew up all the steels. Very smart, shrewd country boy from South Carolina. And then Lucky said to the council, Dutch got to go. Lucky understand, if we go to war, we'll get no money. If we work it out, we all get some money. Mm-hmm. Bumpy got in the bed with him. I wouldn't have got in the bed with him. These kids today wouldn't have got in the bed with Lucky, but that's how it was in them days. Mm. Dutch Schultz was a real nut. He thought it was all about him. Then that's when the council, those guys that around that time, Lucky and all his crew, Miles Lansing, and I knew Miles real well. That was my idol. Miles Lansing. You heard my tape? I always hear what Miles say. It's never personal, it's business. And it was a business thing. The Dutch had to go. And Bumpy them sign off on it. Because you got to look at this. You just got to understand. In that era, if you come to town taking, and you down with Lucky and all of them, that's blocking them. Dutch wanted it all. He was a real greedy Jew cocksucker. Real greedy.
Dutch Schultz was.
Huh?
Dutch Schultz, you talking about?
Dutch Schultz.
Yeah.
That's why they took him out at a restaurant right up the street from me in Newark in 1935. Because he crossed the line. Dutch was real crazy. I ain't letting no niggas get no money. I'm going to take all them pennies and quarters of town. Uptown to Harlem. But Bumpy went to war. He got in bed with Lucky, and they agreed. Dutch had to go. But Bumpy was the man. But trust me, Bumpy was that guy.
Yeah, it's a shame he couldn't.
Love Malcolm.
Yeah, it's a shame that they couldn't put that brain and build a Fortune 500 company, right?
See, you gotta understand. You're a smart guy.
Yes.
You feel the clear. Everything, and I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, she said, I come to clean you up. My son will come and give you the real Islam. Imam Wafdi Muhammad said, and he loved Malcolm. He said, but Malcolm was ahead of his time. And like you just said, at that time, we weren't in the Fortune 500 companies. We were getting by any means necessary. But had this been this time, we'd have been on top of the world. Had Malcolm would have been here, a lot of these things, it wouldn't have been in a foresight. But Bumpy was willing to go to die and go to war for Malcolm. Especially that bum used to show.
Now you mentioned, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let me ask you something. Fred, I know how old you are, but I ain't put out there. Did you ever watch the interview on Oprah Winfrey with Betty Shabazz and her oldest daughter?
Yeah, when the movie X came out, that interview. Yeah, I saw that. Yes. Now
think about what Betty said. You son it, you got it the same way. You ever said they can get it too, and they got it. You can play that tape. This is what Betty said. He son it. She didn't call no name. He son it, and he got it the same way. Think about Malcolm got it with a shotgun, and Mr. James Shabazz and Newark, who integrated with John Ali, got it with a shotgun in 1973. 8 years later.
How did Bumpy Johnson die? Wait. First, Doug Schultz died in New Jersey at 34 years old, correct? How did he end up dying?
They whacked him. They whacked him in a restaurant. Shot him 7 times.
And how did Bumpy Johnson die? Did he die of a heart attack, or was he murdered or something like that? How did he die?
No. Bumpy died of bad health and a heart attack. 1968 in Wells Restaurant on Fifth Avenue and 16th Street, around the corner from the mosque.
Was he an out of shape man?
Bumpy, country boy, Charleston, South Carolina. The country boy will eat right, and especially in them days. Bumpy like the hog malls and stuff. It was that era.
Right. And Stephanie St. Clair, she died a year later, correct?
Yes, I think 1 or 2 years later.
Who ended up taking her inheritance? Because she died rich. So who ended up taking all the money, or getting the money? Or
from my understanding, that she had a niece that wound up with it. This is what I heard Percy elaborate on. I don't know, because as you know, I'm a Philadelphia guy out of 12, not 7. And that anything happened in New York came up under 7. We didn't get into the show way, he didn't get our way. But from my understanding, from reliable source, her niece and her niece's daughter got it. So she didn't have no children. After she came out of jail for killing her husband.
Got that. Yeah. Wow. When you look back at Harlem in the 60s, what's your overall view of it in the 50s?
My overall view was that it was a black Mecca at that time. just like Oklahoma was before the crash of the Depression,
Right.
the black folks.
What stands out to you about the 60s and Harlem and it being the Black Mecca? Any persons, any event?
At that time, the 60s, coming to the 70s, to the Superflies, and to the Uptowns, and to the Palo, and to the Regal in Baltimore, it was a Black Mecca. Because you remember that time was on the rise, the Black Panther was on the rise, the IRA, the Irish was on the rise, but Harlem was a centerpiece. Guys from down home, if I get to New York, Philadelphia, the Motor City, I get a job at General Motors, go to Philadelphia, I get a job at Wonder Bread for a minute. I'm on my way. That's what the idea and the mentality at that time in that day and age. But Harlem was so full of glamour. You had the Savoy, you had Small Paradise coming everywhere, because everybody knew Malcolm was there. And then you had Philadelphia, you had the Black Mafia. Then you had the rise of the sons of Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali. Everything was on the move. But at the 60s was when we came into our own, when we said enough was enough.
Right.
You understand one thing, especially when Malcolm and late Malcolm X and a lot of the policemen and Mr. Jeremiah met with the Ku Klux Klan. The minister told me, I went there and when he met with me, he said, I asked the Ku Klux Klan, you go anywhere down these dirt roads, but why don't y'all come in one of them projects in the inner city? He said the Ku Klux Klan told him, listen, we can't get out of it. But they understood. They would, and most any blacks went down there at that time when Jeremiah and Malcolm went, they'd lynch him. But they knew the wrath of the Nation of Islam would come. See, a lot of the white folks feared Elijah Muhammad. They didn't fear Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, but they feared the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because he had killers that he recruited from the penitentiary, gangsters, whole camps. He had the philosophy. He had guys that would die for him. He had guys that would cross people for him. But you see how John Ali, all of them, and Yusuf Shaw, and all of them crossed Malcolm? It was good and it was bad at that time.
Do you believe, looking back on it, that Elijah Muhammad worked for the government? Could you see that at all?
I don't see it. Yeah, guys around him that did.
Who would you believe outside of you've mentioned John Ali? Who else would think was an informant for the FBI?
I believe his son-in-law was, in my opinion. I was told, I heard, I don't know natural fact. I live on the coldest street. I go by what I know, not what I heard. I heard his son-in-law was the Supreme Captain, Raymond Sharif. That's what I heard. I don't know. But I don't think Raymond was my president because he wasn't too bright.
Right. You also spent time. How much time did you spend with Muhammad Ali?
Off and on for 30 years. I love him, my man.
Like, you know him for 30 years, but can you give us an understanding of your relationship?
Okay. As I said to you before, and I want you to understand this, bro. When Ali lived in Cherry Hill, he came up under number 12. When he went to Miami, he came up under 29. New York, he was under Yusuf Shaw. And when he was in LA, he was at Captain Raymond. When he was in Chicago, he was under Supreme Captain Raymond and Captain Boer, his wife's father. We was his protector and his security. Well, Deer Lake came up under Philadelphia, Captain number 12, Mr. Jeremiah. If you move all the way, wherever he went, Jeremiah was there with him, the minister himself.
What camp? I'm sorry. I know.
You need to study the history of number 12. 12 was more dangerous than 25. 12 was one who went to Kareem's house.
Yeah.
12 went to Major Coxon. 21 went to Atlantic City. Jeremiah didn't play no games. I said to you before, there was 4 ministers, but Jeremiah was the most feared. It was Farrakhan, James Shabazz, and Mr. Jeremiah, and Malcolm, and Jeremiah Shaheed Muslim Shabazz, my minister.
What camps did you do security for Muhammad Ali so the fans can have an idea and Google the fights?
Jimmy Young, both Leon Spinks, all where he went in Philadelphia. I'm gonna say this one more time. I want you to understand this. Wherever he went, when he lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, came up on the 12. If I didn't go, I would send somebody. When time before the Jimmy Young and all the other guys, the guy he had in Chicago, the police, I didn't trust Pat Patterson. And then he had a C10, the running back father. We certain areas he went, we put guys. If he was doing something in New York, top of New Jersey, we put C10 with him. If he was in Atlanta, we put Ronald Harvey with him. That's one of the guys that went in Kareem's house in D.C.
And what were your job duties?
My job was to make sure he was secure, bro. We had to, in Nation of Islam, and I told you this before, it's called Take Temper All View. Ali was a mega star. We couldn't let that happen to him. Ali, his manager, as I said before, I love the brother, but I get too much for Herbert. And when he was in New York, by me coming into the game with Joe Frazier, Benny Briscoe, Charlie Scott, and all of them, I was really access because I didn't get for Herbert. Butch Lewis was my guy. Bob Aaron, as I said before, he dealt with me because he knew who I am and he knew my street credibility. But as he said before, he told Butch, you got to take care of the man. I got you because of Smoking Joe. So, but what I will say, with Ali was a good run. But my best run was with Michael Spinks. Because Michael Spinks, even he won a gold medal, he was easy to deal with. Leon was a head kid. And I was Leon, and me and Mr. T, he'll tell you, he told me, T crazy. I said, Leon, don't be cracking your head with this goddamn pistol. And I called Mama Kate and tell her I did it. But I didn't have a problem. And you guys have problems they're doing security for fighters and singers and superstars acting. I didn't have that problem. Because they know I'm going to crack in your head. We ain't doing all this crazy. You acting crazy. We going, we got to go do what we got to do. But once in Michael Spinks, I was with him before I got real sick. We in Pennsylvania Basketball Hall of Fame. He told the crowd, he said, this my guy here, Captain Leon. I understand but he wasn't day one. But I said, we rolling. And see what Ali being the glamour that he was, Fred, everybody want to touch him, get to him. I used to say, champ, we rolling, baby. He's a brother captain. I got to take care of the people. That's what they love me. But I understood. And Gerald, sometimes I would get aggressive. And Mr. Jeremiah says, slow down, brother captain. I'm here, slow down. Because I understand. See, fighters today, that's why he got 100K babies. That's why only fighters today. See, we did things different with Michael Prince Charles, we didn't Tim Witherspoon. But Ali's my guy. And so the line of Shabazz is cook, my girl. We understand what Allah blessed us to be with. But the Jimmy Young camp, the only time I disagreed with him was the Jimmy Young fight. I said to him, and I said to Brother Booker, and I said to Herbert Muhammad, son, who's still alive, and bear with it, sir. I said, the champ is done. And he overheard me, and he said, man, I ain't done. You work for me. And being the guy that you know I am, I said, nigga, don't you start that bullshit. I ain't one of these funnies up there that damn here. But I love him so much, I just left. And I just couldn't, I knew a year later that the three Manila had took him out. And 4 months later, we going to Jimmy Young. Joe had took it all out 5 months earlier. We fought Jimmy Young in 76, in April. We had just left Manila. He was done. And I kept telling Herbert, Don and bear witness, it's over. Didn't understand. And Rudy's in Rockmine in Chicago, he'll tell you. He's just my man, Kathleen. I told him, Shabazz, check it from the sky. It's over. But as the years went on, we made up. But I loved him so much, I walked away.
Mm. How would you?
I was
How?
around for Leon both times, but I didn't go. I went up to the camp, showed my love, we all prayed, but I wasn't part of that entourage. I was in New Orleans, I was in Las Vegas, but I was with Butch. The Butch was the promoter. I had Butch security.
Got that. How would you describe Herbert's and Muhammad Ali's relationships? Herbert Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's son.
Herbert was a damn fool. Herbert robbed that man. Herbert, Java was a motherfucker. I love him because he was a Muslim. But Java, he wouldn't have worked with none of my party if I had something in. I tell you, Ali loved him. If you watch the movie, that part was true. When Ali said to him, "Oh, I can come back now," when he got his license back, he said, "Ali said, I'm always a Muslim." That was a true scene. When Herbert walked in and said, "My father is your father," but then he was coming into his own. They had a thing. Herbert didn't like Don, but Ali loved Don. Herbert, I'm gonna tell you, this is some crazy shit. And Bob will tell you, Herbert loved Bob. Ali loved Don. Herbert did everything he could to block Don so Ali could be with Am. Am would tell you the same story. But Am feared us. He didn't fear them. Used to shout all the money when balls and bears on him. He feared that another crew. But he knew what would happen. Mr. Jeremiah said, "Leave him alone, man. He's a nut." Like the white boy that is still living, Ali business manager, Gene Kilroy. Gene was my guy, but he was a nut. But we understood it took a whole puzzle to make that thing work and then do him. But as I would say, our relationship, we was good. We was good Muslim, but my guy. But after Jimmy Young fight, I felt that it was over. And that's why I left the camp and I went to Butch. And matter of fact, I was in Vegas, but I didn't even watch the Leon Spinks first fight. I went to New Orleans because it was a history maker. But I knew then that he was done from 2 years ago in Manila. That took a lot out of him and Joe, man. They was both done.
Yeah.
But for your parents to know and listen, he was my brother and my guy.
Any private conversations you had with Muhammad Ali that you can share?
Well, a lot of them we had a lot of on the religion. Especially after the Imam came in and took over after the most honorable Elijah Muhammad passed. May Allah be pleased with him. Bismillah, Allah, forgive me all his sins. I said to him, Aaron Snowell was there, Tim Witherspoon was there, and they're bear witnesses. Timmy answered, he said, Cam, we all love you. Why did you turn your back on Brother Mal? He said, brother, I don't really know, but at that time, instruction. Then Gene Kilroy, chairman, he hollered at you. When he said instruction, I knew then where it came from. But he get a chance to finish it. When we in 1991, I think in 1991 at the All-Star, when him and Joe finally made up, I'm walking with Smoking Joe there. Joe said, and I said to Joe, and Marvis, who's Joe's son-in-law, I said, got to make the peace. Joe's son-in-law, Big Pete, my guy up in the union, I said, this is because Joe didn't understand what Ali was doing. You and I understand now what he was doing. What he did might have been wrong for ridiculing Joe, but that's what he did. And I said to him at the camp, we was at the camp when he fought in the last fight, Trevor Burke
Trevor Burbett. Yeah.
said to Yusuf Shaw, I said, Yusuf, that's when Don got beat up. I said, you the captain of New York. You can talk to him. Because Ali was staying in New York, coming down to Philadelphia, getting ready. Then he went on somewhere else to train for Burbett. And I said, Yusuf Shaw, go get Sister Lana. Lana Shabazz was his cook. Tell her to talk to him. It's over. And after the last home fight, man, I wanted to crack Don in his head. Why would you do this to this man? Because it was done. Then I blame Herbert. Herbert just had to sign off on it. Herbert was so fucking greedy. And then he had all these kids and all these wives and shit. Then he had to then Khalil sue him. So Khalil was on your show. But Belinda didn't tell you the real reason that it led up to Eastern Fest. Because all them bitches were trying to rob him. And I don't like her, but Lonnie Shabazz, Lonnie Ali was the best girl he ever had. Other than his first wife, my girl Sonia. That was my buddy Sonia.
You said something about it got muffled. Something about Yusuf Shaw and Muhammad Ali and his wife. Say it again. With Belinda.
Yusuf Shaw was the captain of New York.
Right.
He was the regional captain. Under M. Sharif. But Yusuf Shaw, if he said something, he had to get a blessing from Chicago. If I said something, only somebody had to bless it with Jeremiah Shabazz. Something that you don't know, something that you should have in your movie, that 12 was part of the nation, but 12 wasn't owned by the nation. 12 was owned by Minister Jeremiah. He bought the building out of his pocket. So if you buy something, it's not under this charter. If all the other building was up under the charter, all the other was up under the Nation of Islam charter. Even though the 12 was under the charter, but it was owned by Minister Jeremiah, the building itself.
Right.
So Jeremiah the one sold it to the Arabs after the change came, when Wallace came and shut everything down. But I would say Yusuf Shaw, he loved Belinda, and he had love for Belinda's father, who died a couple years ago, Captain Raymond Boyd, brother Captain, good guy. But it all boiled down, bro. Towards the beginning, it was all right. At the end, it was cutthroat, bro. Then they put one of the greatest reformers come out the country in Malcolm in the cause. You can't say no other way. A lot of people say, why you support the man's movement? It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Do you speaking of that, before I get to that, let me write this down. Do you do you think that Herbert Muhammad was sending the money to Elijah, and Elijah knew that they were stealing the money from Muhammad Ali?
Yes. He was a smart little motherfucker with a third grade education. He was smart. And do I? All the stuff that came out of Chicago. All the stuff that came out of Chicago, bro.
All the orders.
Nothing went on unless Elijah knew about it. Nothing. But Elijah didn't get in Jeremiah's business. They feared Jeremiah, man. Jeremiah was very sharp, educated, and real gangster. Herbert was scared of Jeremiah. Let me tell you a story. Farrakhan was so scared of Jeremiah, he went and told Wallace, he said Jeremiah was going to kill him. And that's why Farrakhan went to the island for a couple of years. And that's why you remember, if you did your homework, Farrakhan took over in New York.
Yeah, he did.
But when Imam came in office and made the change, and went to Chicago, he called Wallace and said, Jeremiah said he's going to kill me. So he got scared of Jeremiah, went to the island 2 years, and came back in 1978 and said, I'm going to rebuild the nation. He'll tell you that himself. He knew I know what went down, because it came out of number 12.
Did Elijah Muhammad know you guys were carrying guns at that time?
Elijah Muhammad, you know, Elijah was about Elijah. He knew what he had when he picked Jeremiah. Jeremiah is originally from Philadelphia, named Jeremiah X. Pugh. Jeremiah's family was all them country gangsters running the numbers in Philadelphia. He knew, but he also knew that he needed the muscle. You can't have no organization if you don't got no muscle. So he had to have the muscle. And saying what he had, Fred. You should see the movie. He had all gangsters out the penitentiary.
Right.
Why not with this stuff?
Right.
You said the laws, but it is what it is, bro.
Right. So, who were the men that attempted to kill Malcolm X the time he went to Philadelphia? Who were those men?
That was Yusuf Shaw's crew. That was Yusuf crew. We had nothing to do with it. We told him, you come to Philadelphia, you'll live. When you stay in New York, them clowns, they wanted it. Because you got to understand, you got to watch the tape. You should watch the tape before you do the movie. When Junior came in to New York, he said, I want all you brothers in this area. I know some in Philadelphia, some in Baltimore is not going to agree with me. Watch the tape. I want Malcolm's head on a plate in Chicago. Elijah Jr. said this. That's why he died at the bum he was. If you watch the tape, he's going to say it at the auditorium in New York. I know some of the brothers in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Detroit, and Miami ain't going to agree with me, but I want his head, brother. Had a whole on his FOI class on it. Man, Junior was crazy. Your father fucking little young girls, and his head should have been on the plate in Chicago.
Who's his head? Elijah?
Elijah himself. Because Elijah tricked us, bro. I don't know if they like it what I say or not. The man tricked them. He was bank robbers, gangster holes. They had holes in the mountain. It was an organization on the reform gangsters and pimps and hoes. You know what it is, bro. I ain't got to tell you. I can tell your listeners. But the listeners need the $sign boxing in 1949. I'm going to get ready to go.
Yeah, $sign boxing 1949 to support
If
Leon
Fred
Muhammad.
And don't only y'all do it, Fred, the man, his word, he going to do something too. Everybody going to do something.
Boxing.
Now,
yes, go ahead.
$sign boxing 1949.
Right.
Had Malcolm would listen to Jeremiah and Bumpy, he might still been alive. They told him, man, leave New York. They wanted him, man. See, you don't know treachery, Fred. You're in the street guy. You know about the street. You know the street. Treachery in the street is dangerous, man. It's dangerous. John Ali, Lynn Sharif, and Parker out of Baltimore, the captain in Baltimore, and you can tell they hated Malcolm with a passion. Malcolm raised all of them. He raised them. How can you hate a man that's like Islam that raised you? You got to do the show on your YouTube show, man. He was a real cold-blooded bum. Start working for Don King. You a captain, and you working for Negroes serving pork. Come on, man. You just got to think, man. How this went down almost 60 years ago. Fred, you got to do a second movie. Get me even harder, more than what you just put out. It is what it
is. So you're saying I should go harder?
I'm saying you got to go see. First of all, you got to do the story on the guy that was alleged that did it in the ball since 65. Stop going mill. I'll be pleased with it. Stop my man. We understand them guys was tricked by Elijah. Everyone knows Elijah gave the order. Them niggas ain't had no sense to do nothing like that without the order. James Shabazz, think what I just said and think what Betty said on Oprah. You found a shotgun and you got one with a shotgun. Did you know that James Shabazz got shot with a shotgun? Just like Malcolm?
Yes. I know he got his head blown off, I believe, right?
Okay. But did you know that all them guys was friends of Betty's, the New World Order? At that time, Betty was with the New World Order. Let's do the history on these motherfuckers, bro.
Right.
what we think.
And what's your thoughts of Farrakhan taking the nation over?
Louis Wilcox, aka Louis Abdul Farrakhan, brother minister. He standing on what Elijah taught him. I don't stand on that bullshit, but it is what it is. I think, as I said before, Farrakhan is a good communicator, very smart. If there's a war in the street with the rappers and the gang, they don't call no imam, they call the minister. But he's good with dialogue. He's good with dialogue. But the rebuilding the nation, to me, it was a good idea because we're beyond that. But he was successful with it.
Mm.
He didn't have the problems that Elijah had. He had a lot of problems. But we're on the sooner now. We're not saying that God came in person as Farad Muhammad, a European drug seller. I remember, Fred, when Wallace called Jeremiah and said, take all the pictures down of Elijah and Farad. We are now following Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him and all his companions. I mean,
I'll get back to Farrakhan. Do you believe Farad is God in the flesh?
hell no. At one time I did, but hell no. And Elijah was not the last prophet, not the last messenger. The last messenger was Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, who was the Quran was revealed to during the month of Holy Quran. I'll tell you, Elijah's tricks, bro. Come on, man. But if you listen to it, Elijah said, I didn't come and teach Islam, I come to clean you up. We got tricked, bro. Niggas robbing bank, pimping. We gangsters. God did not come and put the mess around Muhammad. I believe that at one time, but hell no, nothing that. Farrakhan's still saying that. Farrakhan hustling.
Who was he? Farad.
God was a reformer. He saw opportunity. When Detroit, he was a European drug seller. He taught Elijah, no duality. From my understanding, Marcus didn't pay him no sense. Marcus had his own thing going back to Africa, Pan Am.
That's exactly how it went. He went to New York, and then he went to Detroit, and was taught by Noble Drew Ali, correct? He was a student of Noble Drew Ali, correct?
Noble Drew Ali, Morris Temple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he gave, and then they had a falling out, right? Do you think Wallace D. Farad killed Noble Drew Ali?
You think who?
Do you think Wallace D. Farad killed Noble Drew Ali?
You asked me, do I think that Farad Muhammad killed Noble Drew Ali?
Yeah, because he was murdered, right, at like 29 and 30. Because, tell me if this is true. My understanding is Noble Drew Ali was the leader, but he had to go away because he was thought to be the murderer of another man. He was sleeping with someone's wife, but he ended up getting off. But in the meantime, Wallace D. Farad was the leader of the Moorish Temple in Detroit. And then when they came back, I believe, did they have a falling out or something?
From what I was told by the old timers in Detroit, before they passed, or the old timers that support them, you're correct. Personally, I don't know, but the guys that told me, I believe they was there. Mm. And my uncle Bubba, he was in Detroit times before Blackish. He was part of the Noble Drew Ali bullshit.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Noble Drew Ali bullshit. What can you tell us about how many interactions did you personally have with Elijah Muhammad?
Jesus Christ. 2 million. I don't want. 2 million. I don't want. It's been an hour. I've been on with you an hour, and my phone still ain't ringing with that green button.
No, this ain't live. This is recorded. I'm gonna release it as soon as we get off.
Are you gonna show me some love, Fred?
Am I gonna show you some love?
Yeah.
Do I always are you gonna show me some love? Are you gonna come through with your word?
I'm gonna come through, but Fred, I need some love now. You know what I'm going through.
All right. So anyways,
Are you?
I said we're recording, man.
I love you. I love to mess with you, bro. Go ahead.
All right. If what was I gonna say? Totally. Oh, your interactions with Elijah Muhammad. Did you ever go inside his house in Chicago?
Twice.
Twice?
We was in Chicago now I went in the house 5 or 6 times in Phoenix. Chicago, I didn't like them bums, man. That was around, thought they was better than everybody. John Ali, Eustace Shaw would always go to Chicago, telling what everybody doing, telling Elijah Muhammad I was running the tick catching squad. Eustace Shaw was a nut. But the house in Phoenix, every time the minister went out there with the minister. That I'll be pleased with both of them.
And can you talk about what y'all talked about? Who were you with, etc.?
Well, it was a situation. Because it was a lot of heat on the mobsters in Philadelphia. Number 12. With the organization called in Chicago, reporting that Jeremiah was running a gangster squad with Brother Sam, Christian, Ronald Harvey, all those guys that was alleged went down there in D.C. Kareem's house, got Major Compton, Fat Tie, Atlantic City, Easter Sunday, 1972. There was so much pressure then with the Black Mafia that the mayors of all the major cities was calling Elijah, saying, "What's wrong with these guys? You guys think y'all was a religious group."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying with the minister, he was saying, if he would call himself scolding Jeremiah wasn't paying attention. He was listening out of respect, oh man. But after the shit went out with the girls and stuff, I lost it for the respect of the nation, but I stayed around because I was doing my own thing and I had my crew. But it wasn't like when I first came in when and a lot of people said, yes, I believe Malcolm. Because he had no reason to lie. And the sister was going to tell it because of Malcolm. I just think when we went to Phoenix, when he got real sick in 74, I felt the end was there for it. But I just didn't have the love for him like I had when I came in.
Right.
That's Jeremiah. So that's what I was remember. A lot of brothers that I love, they love me. I just didn't have the love.
Mm.
But just the same. If your daughter go up to college and you send her to college and the dean trying to mess with her, shit ain't cool, bro.
Mm.
Now, not saying that I think I'm on the law knows I'm leading, but when you sit back and look at it, Fred, shit was fucked up, man.
Right.
But you also got to blame the parents for sending them out there.
Right.
Just if you look at it, it's R. Kelly all over again. It's R. Kelly, a new one.
So you think Elijah Muhammad was R. Kelly?
I mean, when you look at it, and then John Ali, once the girls got the kids, then they put them in C class. C class, F class was a class where you couldn't associate with no member that was in good standing. And he the one fucking the young girl. What kind of shit is that? He let him put them in C class. Then feed the kids, they're going way up there. And I did my homework with a few of them old ladies that was social workers out in California and Chicago that's near the end. That's why they put the case, man.
Right. And you said you went to go to Phoenix a couple of times. What was those interactions like?
Well, we got word he was at the end. And Jeremiah loved him. And Jeremiah was Lord, but Jeremiah did Jeremiah. And Parker, the captain out of Baltimore, was there going on. Captain John out of New York. Yusuf Shaw was. I just sit back and look, man. They all see they all was praying for him to live. Because Wallace already put out. If he go, it's going to be a new day. And Wallace cleaned it up. He said, all you niggas got to get a job. Ask Kalila. All these he said, all of them you got to get a job. Whatever you do between you and God. But it's no more right. So the sisters, y'all got to get a job. Ain't no more, we all the fur coat you want. But I ain't buying nothing for you. Wallace was straight up, man. He was on his jeans. So all them other bums, John, all them bums, she said, real niggas don't hide. Real niggas don't hide. When you do something wrong, you face your consequences. Am I right or wrong? You born in New York.
Right.
You New York guy.
Are you implying that Elijah Muhammad hid?
Huh?
Are you implying that Elijah Muhammad hid?
Both of them. Both of them. I believe, especially the National Secretary, your man John Ali. Fuck you hide, but he still had these 92. What he told you, 91, 92?
He's somewhere up there.
It was what you hide, but come on out, nigga. Face your punishment. If there's any punishment, he knew what he did in 1965 on that Sunday night ballroom. He knew why he was late for that press conference in Chicago. And you know, and he told you. He just didn't say, you're going to tell it. That's what this thing is about.
Right.
Fred, Elijah had some cold motherfuckers around him. But do anything he said do. But he didn't put what you did. He did not himself. Anybody still around, the guy you had on your show, Miss Nick out of New York, your homie from uptown. What's the old man you had on the show? That was assistant minister in New York. What's the guy named Fred?
I'm drawing a blank.
Huh? When he wear glasses, old timer, he was assistant minister in New York. Miss Nick and his name started with an M. He called me a black gangster from Philadelphia. Said we were alligator show to. Even Malcolm said it was the thing. He said them brothers, they're gangsters.
Oh, you're talking about Militia Nick, whatever his name is.
Yeah. He don't like me. That's not the niggas are singing.
Oh, I've never interviewed him.
You never?
No, I would like to.
I saw some niggas sing. He talking trash about me when I was with that boy Jason Carls. He talking trash about me. And the only thing saved me the second time is Xavier wouldn't let me do it. I said, nigga, I sent for you. My grandson them went to get it. But it ain't about that. See, you in New York and you was down, you tell him, nigga, you ain't love Malcolm. You was with that nigga used to show. All y'all was in cahoots. You citizen minister under Malcolm and you crossed him. Nigga was cross-eyed in himself.
Really? Ms. Nick?
Yeah, man.
Really? You think Ms. Nick was running with Yusef Shaw, sending Elijah to women and all that?
In my opinion, Yusef was a captain. The only two powers in New York was Malcolm and Yusef Shaw. This nigga's a nut, man. He's a nut. Well, I'm concerned. My personal view.
Now, what was Phoenix similar to a hoe house? He had all his girlfriends there in Phoenix, Elijah.
Y'all, I'm gonna say this. Ray Charles, see that? He dead and blind. He saw that. He was blind and dead, making music.
Say it again.
Ray Charles, see that? He dead and blind. Bruh. Them nurses, check the age of all the nurses they had out there at that time, before he passed, 75. Check the age of the nurses, man. I gotta tell you.
No, tell us. I don't know.
I'm telling you, bro. It was what Malcolm said it was. I'll stand on it. Can't say no more than that, bro. Now I'm waiting for your people to stand on $sign 1949.
$sign boxing 1949. Everyone goes support boxing.
$sign boxing 1949.
Boxing, $sign boxing 1949.
You have to understand, Fred. The man didn't want no old ass fat nurses around him. He wanted them young girls around him out there in the field.
How did
he got?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He got that Phoenix compound. We send them money out there. Niggas robbing banks. We thought all the money supposed to go to Chicago, and niggas was starving to death now. And we send the money to Chicago. The daughter and them wearing fur coats. Get the fuck out of here. The man, but the bottom line, the man took it. I can't make no plan in that for you and your listeners. The man took it. It was good for that era, but it's no more. So you can't keep justifying.
How much money could you say you sent to Chicago? Your personal money?
Shit, that's over $200,000.
200. You sent $200,000
over the course of a time.
Wow.
Me and my from 71 to 75 to be paid.
Damn.
I started slacking. I said, listen, these motherfuckers in Chicago living off of me. Fuck that shit. I started, and then the soldiers, and towards the end, from 72 to 75, Philadelphia was sending the lowest money. And he kept, and Farrakhan kept complaining, because Farrakhan was a minister in New York at that time. He said, why everybody out doing Philadelphia? Jeremiah said, Farrakhan, shut up before you get your head cracked. And Wallace tell you today, the Wallace saved Farrakhan. Farrakhan did it. He straight up, man. That he feared Philadelphia, number 12.
Yeah. And Farrakhan just came out and said that he has multiple women and multiple kids at last Savior's Day.
What?
Farrakhan came out and said that he has more than one wife at Savior's Day.
Shit, that ain't nothing new. Yeah, I knew that shit in 1970. Almost 60 years ago.
What do you know?
See, Farrakhan.
Hello? Mr. Muhammad. All right, let me call him back. But in the meantime, and between time, don't forget boxing, money sign boxing 1949 on Cash App and
what?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were, because they were there. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
It's what?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were under. Don't forget to 9 Wives the movie. Go to 9wives.movie, and don't forget money sign on Cash App boxing 1949 to support Leon Muhammad, so we can keep these interviews coming, man. And yeah, man. So we dropped off where you said you've known since 1970. What did you know in 1970 about Farrakhan and other women?
I knew then that he had another, for what I say 70, but more of 73, because I was really into the streets. I really had a pipeline for information.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, I was still wrestling with this thing with them fools watching Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped going to New York. I stopped talking to Shaw, all of them. Because what y'all did was wrong, man. And Mr. James, when he got it, and Farrakhan went to New York talking that slick shit, I said, you fuck around, you'll get it. knew then that cathedral, somebody came to see me. A guy came to see me and said, listen, but Captain, I knew that he said, Louis Cathedral ain't on the girl he got. I said, man, you can tell. But I couldn't put my pinpoint because I come from a different crew, different era. You stand on what you know. Mm-hmm. But Cathedral knew this as well as Claire.
So he's doing the same thing. Do you believe he's running the same game Elijah Muhammad's running?
What you mean for the religion or for the girls?
Both.
Well, I know I'm gonna say this. All praise to God. I love the minister. Some of the things he said, I don't agree with the minister. But you know in Islam, you're allowed to have 4 wives. To be alleged underage secretary, Louis never would do that. And I put my life on that. But as far as having a couple of girls beside Khadijah, yes. But as far as taking advantage of young girls, no.
No, yeah, sure. So
I'm breaking it for the people.
Yes, gotcha.
No, never that. Mm-hmm. But he knows the religion very well. But he still believe in parade.
So history is repeating itself.
Just like the scripture said, all roads lead back home. Right. And just like the prodigal came home.
Right.
But in a different aspect. See, first of all, Farrakhan, sharp, tall guy, musician, he ain't got to play on change. It's in his field. Pastor singer, violin player. Elijah was a country boy, Peacock in Fayetteville, Georgia. You're a short guy. You understand, man? But all respect due to the minister.
Have you met his other family and kids?
Farrakhan?
Yes.
No. I don't know them. I don't care to them. It don't mean nothing to me. They're a lot of blessings.
Have you met any of Elijah Muhammad's other women?
You need to find out. It doesn't benefit me. I have a family member that know him, but don't benefit me. You know what I'm about, $, boxing 1949. and everything comes to an end because they ain't benefit me.
Right. How would you summarize your Nation of Islam experience?
Huh?
How would you summarize your Nation of Islam experience?
How would I summarize my running the nation?
Did Elijah Muhammad clean you up, or was it personal accountability?
Elijah gave me something I didn't have in the Baptist church down south. He gave me something that I didn't have because my family loved the Marcus. And that Marcus didn't have. Elijah took me to a new plane. But also in 1970, in the early, when I got in the streets and doing my thing, I also knew that it was a trick bag. But Imam Warfin Muhammad, his son, he took it to the real religion of Al-Islam. It was just a run and a hustle. After that, found out all the shit that was going in Chicago, Jesus Christ.
Why do you still revere Jeremiah Shabazz, knowing that you guys did some wrong things?
First of all, let me say this to you, bro. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent Merciful, thank God for life, health, and strength. What we did at that time was what we did. And in our time, you and me doing this show, we really came and got you. I love you, love your family, but I'm just saying the errors changed. It's okay what you do today. At that time, if you spoke, and what you doing after this movie, you couldn't did that in 1972, from 60s up until you got real sick in 74. We came and got you. And everybody you love. Like we went to DC, went to Atlantic City, It wasn't meant. We at the time we thought he was the last messenger of God. We didn't know no better. So Wallace came and cleaned us up. That movie would have got your whole family killed in that era. Today, these kids don't care who you make a movie on. They want you to make one on them so they can get $2. The nation was scared, bro. I can't explain it no more than you listen. And to answer the question that you just asked, I'm a loyal soldier. I'm slow, but my word is good. Anybody that know me, I stand on the law walk by.
Do you personally believe he gave the order to kill Malcolm X? Elijah Muhammad?
My personal opinion?
Yes.
Yes, I believe he gave the order. Now, and he was sick, but I would have called him then because he had guys in his ear. Malcolm trying to take over the nation. Malcolm trying to take over the nation. Malcolm built the fucking nation. When you came home, you had a few local mosques with a bunch of senior citizens. Betty was right. They couldn't move without him, bro. You keep asking the same shit. You just had the guy that instructed, that carried out the order, made sure it was done. You just left that old rat bastard. Edgar Hoover's Ali. And you know that John Ali was part of it. Go ahead. Come on, conversation, Bob. You know what happened. I'm telling you, he gave the order. What more you want me to say, bro? I know for a fact, I put my family life, he gave the order. So what more y'all want from me? My green light and my phone ain't jumping.
Well, it's not live yet. When it goes live, you'll know when it goes live. I'll drop it. I'll drop it tonight.
I want you to. Are you going to make my light jump?
I've done it already. Like how many times you gonna ask?
Are you?
Yes, I said yeah. Are we gonna argue while we doing this or no?
Oh no, we are. I just listen, and I'm gonna let y'all listen. You know, I love barbershop, Fred. But
No,
we
you don't.
argue.
No, you don't. You don't love me. You don't love me. You don't love
I'll
me.
put that out there, Fred. But listen, I love barbershop, Fred. I owe him. He owe me. But one thing.
No, I don't owe you. I don't owe you. Owe me.
Let me do what I'm doing. Bring up race. Let me do a controversy. You know, controversy sells. Controversy sells.
What?
Y'all got to go see this movie. Controversy sells.
What? We'll get out of here. But before we get out of here, did you ever have any conversations like the conversation you had with me about the experience with Wallace?
You know, me and the imam fell out.
Oh, okay.
You want to know why?
Yes, I do.
At the end, Fred, Imam Wafdi Muhammad came.
What year? What year when you say at the end? What year? 1973?
76.
Okay, 76. Okay.
He came to Philadelphia at the Civic Auditorium, the Civic Center in West Philly, and said, we're going to remake the world. We're going on this tuna. We're not following my father. We're not following Farah Muhammad. We're following Muhammad Abdullah, the last prophet messenger of God. He said, I'm replacing Philadelphia with a new minister. Mr. Jeremiah going to New York. His captain running a check cashing squad. His captain's a gangster. I'm sitting down, he's trying out me, Daoud, Jeremiah, but he put Jeremiah in Philadelphia. We know in New York, because we know he shut all us down, but he let Jeremiah go to New York because he knew Jeremiah was playing them games. But he shot me and my crew down because he couldn't put us out because we were on the tuna. Can't put nobody out. Now, and we still in the nation, he couldn't put us out. Once he changed it, to Al-Islam in the West, he couldn't put us out because we came up under the tuna. But the last time I spoke to him, right before he passed, he came to Newark, New Jersey. Atleast Muhammad, I tell you, Atleast embroidered me and Murad Muhammad, the boxing promoter, to the Robert Tree Hotel. Atleast Muhammad's son said to me, Brother Captain Leon, Amir is his name, Amir Muhammad, I'm 25, young man, said, you don't know how long Allah gonna let you and the imam be here. You got to make up with the imam. on the end, bro, I want to crack his head, but I know it would go against the sooner. Because the shit he did, he stopped the money flow. He said I was doing this, doing that. And I got indicted. I beat one of the cases, but I got indicted. Because the parents said, if your leader thinks he's doing this, then we got to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, bro, for 20-something years, I didn't talk to him.
Mm.
Until he came to Rocky Hotel, New Jersey, right before he passed. A young kid named Amir Muhammad, Atleast Muhammad's son, who came out at 25 under Mr. James. Now, Atleast would tell himself he went to Islamic school in Newark called Neil. And all them guys loved Yusuf Shaw, and they knew he was a bomb. Because Newark came up under Yusuf Shaw. Newark had his own captain, John, but Yusuf Shaw was the regional captain.
Prior to 1976, did you guys have conversations about what was going on, or was it just politics as usual, small talk?
Small. It was when he was coming in. Sound like brother captain, but he didn't come around that much, man. When I always knew that he was gonna be the one. But the funny shit was on the plane going to Barrel, I said, Farrakhan crying like he's crazy. I think Farrakhan got 30 votes to take over. But we knew the Imam was going to take it. That's why the Imam went to school to study religion. Farrakhan made up with the Imam, but he ain't like the Imam. The Imam took control. He was the boss. He couldn't accept that.
Did
he made up with Wallace when he went to the East. The brothers in the East told him, if you want to keep helping Muammar Gaddafi, then you got to make up with Wallace. And we all Muslims. That's why he did with it and went to Juma with it. I'm telling you, I would have heard what I know.
Yeah, we got to talk about Gaddafi on the next one.
Yes, we will, brother. Oh, I love it, man. I know the whole story about that money because my bank man in Philadelphia, he did one couple of transactions. That's about the money thing.
Yeah.
He came to went to New York, went to Chicago, did the money, went back to Cairo, and back to Miami with Captain Sam got the money. They called Rock, Captain Sam. You guys, well, that shit was mean, man.
Damn. It seemed like it was fun free willing it, you know what I mean? But it's just awful that the mental manipulation, the drugs and the alcohol, and kind of left a hindrance on the Black community, you know, between Philadelphia, Chicago, Harlem.
Say this to you, and you're right. And I don't care if the ones that's around don't like it. They know I don't play no games. They know what I stand on, and they know I play with them things. If you come, but at 79, bro, my time is limited. Only God knows I'm going to the hereafter. What I did, I apologize, but it was what it was. It is what it is. Only I got to repent before my maker. A lot of stuff I did, going to see people, I ain't pleased with it, but that was at the time, that was the order.
Is there one that strikes your chord that you regret, that you think about in your silent moments?
I really regret that some brothers I know went and got a young man that I once grew up in North Philly. I just wasn't in a position to stop it. And a lot of them brothers still in the federal penitentiary 40 years later. I couldn't stop it because the order came down. It was done, and I couldn't go against the order at that time. And it would have been a year or so later, 77, 78, I could have stopped it myself because I was in a better position in the streets. I put it like that. And also, a lot of things went down, bro, that I didn't like. But when I became that guy in the streets, I control my own destiny of time, North Philly.
Right.
But when I was behind somebody, and to believe me, bro, on my mother's grave, who just passed a few months ago, I regret it, but God knows best. To those families still up that think that I had something to do with whether I did or not, I ask forgiveness for all the crew that came out of 12, including the minister himself.
Right. All right. Totally appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through. Don't forget $ Boxing 1949 to support the captain, Leon Muhammad, man. Boxing 1949. I'm going to end this and I'm going to call you right back, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for sure. Thank you. And don't forget 9wives.movie, 9wives.movie. And here's the trailer for the movie. And you guys go support it. Actually, let's play this trailer because I got 2 movies on this trailer.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
I just need you to know that I see you.